डे डे प्यार डे प्यार डे प्यार डे 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 प्यार डे जुम्मा जुम्मा डे डे हाँ।
अब तुझे डे और डे का फर्क भी बताना पड़ेगा।
फर्क तो है ही। अगर चाहिए एक ही जगह से एक ही दिन में घर बैठे बैठे ग्रोसरीज, प्रेयर आइटम्स, कॉस्मेटिक्स, मेडिसिन, हाउस होल्ड का सामान या मोर, तो डाउनलोड करो DEI डे ऐप और हो जाओ शुरू। डे डे प्यार डे प्यार डे।
For details, log on to dei.com.sg and download the app today. Day. Online shopping just got easier.
Online shopping just got easier. You know how easy it has become for you guys nowadays. A very good evening. This is Renuka, of course, from the studios of Radio Masti, 24/7, absolutely live, bringing yet another edition of an amazing new show, which is called Entrepreneurs on Fire. Now, in case you are wondering, what are these entrepreneurs made of? Well, we'll try to find out a little bit. But in case you are thinking, what song is playing and why am I not talking about it like I always do? Well, Kar Har Maidan Fateh. You know what? Today I'm going to be talking a little bit in Hindi and a lot more in English because Kar Har Maidan Fateh. What does that really mean? That means be victorious wherever you go. And that's exactly what entrepreneurs want to do, right? If you know any entrepreneur or you are one, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's this funny statement that's always talked about us, about crazy people like us. To be precise, we say we are willing to work 80 hours and not 40 hours. How funny and how weird, right? Who doesn't want to work 40 hours, go to an office, just do what you're assigned to do, and then after that, come back and then get a monthly check? Why not? Life is good. But then there is a certain section of people who decide that they are not going to be doing that. Instead, what they want to do is go all the way to a random place, think of where to keep the chairs, where to put the tables, what product to do, look for the market, think of the quality, and do everything right from the basics. And these people, the crazy people, passionate people, are called entrepreneurs. And yes, today I'm going to be introducing you to someone very very special. इनका जो ब्रांड है वो तो ऑफ कोर्स आप बड़े दिनों से देख ही रहे हैं. इनफैक्ट यहाँ पर ऊपर अगर आप देखें अपने राइट साइड टॉप पर इट सेज डे. एंड इन केस यू वंडरिंग डे है क्या, how did it come about, then I have the man himself, and yes, that is none other than Jay Varman. Jay Varman, in case you don't know, is the co-founder and CEO of Day Holdings Private Limited. And right after this 15 seconds, I'm going to be inviting Jay on the screen to meet each one of you. Welcome.
Make sure you add Masti to your lives. Download the app today and stay energized and connected on the go. Radio Masti 24/7 Live, Singapore's only Bollywood radio since 2009. Oh yeah.
Jay, I have to welcome you, and I'm so happy to see the man behind De Pyar.
Yes,
De-
very good jingle.
I'm glad you like it.
And
Do you?
it's my pleasure to actually be here. So thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come and speak with us and share about your journey. Because seriously, entrepreneurs, full respect. Tell me, Jay, why couldn't you be normal like anybody else? You know, people who like a paycheck at the end of the month. Why would you not settle for that?
I'm sure there are days that every entrepreneur wants to go back to, having that paycheck. But I guess when I go on this journey, I
Right.
think just the fulfillment that we get, I think we're just cut up to, never taking the conventional way. I think it's just always going on the uncharted territories, discovering new things. When everybody wants to see the Eiffel Tower, I think we want to see the jungle, the waterfall inside it. It's just the difference. And to me, the path that I took was something that I believe that was a challenge.
Okay.
And someone asked me once if I could do it, and I said yes, I will do it, and I never look back. And that's why I'm doing this, what I'm doing right now.
Awesome. But I'm not going to let you finish the story so quickly in like less than 2 minutes. All right. So we have to dig deeper because I love to know what exactly goes behind such a brand that you have today, built for yourself and for the community in Singapore. So tell me, you are a degree holder from NUS in biomedical.
Yeah. So I used
And
to study a lot of bacteria. I used to enjoy that, but the problem was I think I got bored of chatting with bacteria and looking through a microscope. So I decided that probably try something new. So back in those days in NUS itself, I had my own business. I was doing events. I was doing a lot of other things, and I guess that's where the fire kind of ignited in me to want to explore doing my own stuff, creating my own product, and
yeah,
getting it to people and changing their lives. And I think that's what I just kind of evolved into.
beautiful. So tell me, when you say that you had this business way back, running events and stuff, which you used to do while at school, I also know that somehow at the back of your mind, you would have always wanted to have something on your own and be your own master, right? So where did this come from? Is there a gene in the family that sort of forced you to get this entrepreneurship, kida, as we call it in Hindi, or or this is self-generated?
I think behind every successful entrepreneur is always there's a woman. In my case, it's my mom, my
Okay.
biggest inspiration.
Oh,
She
wow.
runs her own company. So she's been doing that for the last 20 years.
Uh-huh.
Um, she was just a kindergarten teacher at one point. She left her lawyer, her high-paying job just to become a tutor because we were in kindergarten. She felt that we are not speaking good English. She quit. She joined, and then from there she grew herself. She started her own company, and now she's running a big company in Abu Dhabi.
Oh,
And
wow.
looking at how she grew, how she persisted in a place where you don't expect females to thrive, and you
Hmm.
see this woman, a lioness, who's actually fighting the battles there. I
Mm.
think that gave me the inspiration to actually pursue it on my own. And
Lovely.
she always told me that never fear. You know, many people will tell you, you can't do a lot of things, and the only reason they tell you that is because they have never tried. So
Ah,
go out
yes.
there and try. Then make them believe that's possible, and that's what she did to me.
That's really well said. If you don't try, you have already failed,
Yeah,
right? And if you try and then you fail, that's not failure. You've learned something in the process.
lesson. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So tell me, what what is day? Because I have two questions on my mind. One, does day stand for something? DEI, or is it just de de pyar de? As much as I would like to believe that.
So we are trying to come up with a name for this new platform. So when we were looking at the market and we realized there's a group of people who are left out, and
Right.
these were the traditional merchants out there. We thought we should create a platform for people who didn't understand e-commerce, who we could help them to get online. And
Yes.
that's why we started this platform. But then we wanted something that can connect with the millennials, the younger generation. When you have
Yeah.
traditional merchants and then you have young buyers, how do you bridge it? So we had to come up with a name. So we went through like probably a 3-month process of finding a name. And probably Day was one of the first few that we actually heard, just that we were like, nobody will buy it, it's so rude, but it was a call out, it's a shout out. And we just decided, what, daily, everything, island wide, I think it's something that we can go with. And we thought Day
Wow.
could stand for something. So now you want from groceries to electronics to beauty sets. I
Right.
think Day is everything. So I think it was that started the whole Day evolution.
That's so cool. So it's daily, everything island wide, and it becomes day.
Yeah, it's nice.
Awesome. I could have never imagined in my life. I think that's totally amazing. I think that is totally I have applause for you.
Thank you.
Because that is very creative. But during this response, you said we multiple times. So who is we? I know you are one of the founders of Day Holdings,
Mm.
but how did the whole idea come about? Who else was a part of this?
So one of my strongest ally, partner in crime, uh, the irony of it. The person who actually guided me and kind of stayed with me all through this whole process was my partner, Mr. Raj.
Okay.
So basically he's older than me, probably. I'm 35. We flip that age, and that's him. 55. But the difference is he brought a lot of wealth of experience, a lot of he guided me in being a youngster, being someone with an entrepreneur title. You tend to do things very fast. You want things like that. You're going there, you're going here, and then you have this person say, "Calm down,
Calm down, slow down.
calm down. Let's take a while. Let's think about it." So there's always this tussle, but what it created was yin and yang. It kind of balanced us out. So he's the pragmatic, patient, and wise man, and there you have the dynamic, fast-living, jumpy young boy. And you try to marry them together, you get day. So if you look
Whoa.
at the whole way we do it, we try to always have two worlds in this place to make it easy and yet make it young enough for everybody to adopt. So that's why you see everything is always a balance for us.
Fantastic. I think that's a lot that you've said in that one very simple statement. What you've mentioned is that definitely entrepreneurial journey for you is not just thinking ahead and thinking digitization. It's a lot to do with being sturdy, slow, thinking of the consumer, thinking of people you are carrying along. Because end of the day, if I understand the crux of what you were trying to do there, was basically trying to pull in people to go the digitization journey. And these are people who are not very comfortable with technology, right? So
Yeah.
therefore, having a partner from the older generation would definitely sort of be of big help, because he would understand the psyche of of people you are trying to
Yeah.
pull. Fantastic. So there's a Ferrari and there's an ambassador, sturdy and speed coming together, and therefore Jay comes in.
And,
So Jay, tell me, so far, if I ask you to look at your journey, right? How many years has Jay been in business now? When did you set it up?
we started in 2017.
Uh huh.
2017, and it's 2020 this year. It's 4 years for us. 4 years. It's
Yeah.
been a very interesting experience for us because there were lots of ups and downs. There were a lot of revamping, rethinking. You
Right.
know, um, Trying to make this brand work, make this brand um, remembered by everyone. Because at the end of the day, this brand represents over 300 other of merchants.
Correct.
These merchants basically are people who never had the resources or the knowledge of how to go online or
Mm.
struggled with it, and we kind of represented them. We kind of spoon-fed them. We kind of guided them, and we got them there.
Mm.
And I have to thank all the consumers who shop on day because COVID kind of hit all these merchants so bad
Yeah. Yeah.
that I still remember merchants calling us and said, "Thank you, because if not for the platform,
Mm.
they wouldn't have survived the 3 months or 4 months that nobody's walking the street." And I think that was the difference we wanted to make to them. So more than just a consumer, it was more of helping these merchants, your very own merchants that you frequent, to get them an opportunity to fight the battle for the future.
But this is very exciting, because your journey, and if I look at our journey, for example, right, 4 years ago, I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but 4 years ago, when we were still 3 hours on the 96.3 FM,
Yeah,
right, which was only Singapore, and you could hear well on
yeah,
another app, but it was not our app, and we were like 3 hours, little bit teeny weeny, 5 to 8 p.m., right? And then the whole guidelines around that changed, and therefore we decided to go the digital way, and we said, well, as long as we are live and we have our broadcast studio and we are 100% digital, because digitization, I mean, look at it, a phone doesn't even have a radio anymore. There's no FM on phones, there's only apps on phones, and that's the way, right? So
yeah,
the future was quite visible, but I had my share of challenges when it comes to educating people, you know
yeah,
and to explain that an app can also be live. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a podcast or a recorded version. I had to
Yeah.
tell them in simple things like, we speak the traffic update. Traffic update can't be recorded, things like that. So,
Mm.
yours is a very similar journey, right? You're talking about pulling people who have no idea of digitization in a pre-COVID area when they didn't feel the need to do it. So give me an example of how you convinced them.
One thing was when I started this whole journey, actually,
Yeah.
no one believed me. Like when I went to the merchants in Little India and I said, you know what, I'm going to get you guys online. Can
Yeah.
you do it? And they
That's
was
a
like,
high five.
no.
Yeah. I need a high five there.
So what I did, it was just a two-man show in the start. So what we did was we went down to the Little India merchants, and what I did was I saw the products they had. I took
Yes.
some pictures, I put it online, and slowly we started getting a sale. One sale became two sale, and then became three sale. People started buying these products, and so
Right.
what happens every day? I'll turn up at the shop, I'll buy, and I'll go. So every day, this lady and this man see me at the shop. They're like, "What are you doing?" So somebody is buying your products. I put it online. Really? Then let me have a look. Then I show them, and this is there. I'm actually doing this. I say, how many products do you have? And I said that I only took 20 products from my shop. See, but I got 500. I said, give it to me. I will bring you online.
Oh,
And that's how the journey started, showing
wow.
them the value that it worked. Because many of them, the generations change. Today, if you talk about the older generation, they trusted more of their TV. Like,
Yes.
if the TV say buy a Mitsubishi aircon, you will buy that. But you go there and there's so many brands, you're not going to believe it. But then if you go to the next generation, our dads, they were more on the word of mouth. People
Yeah.
kind of talking to them. They will say, "Hey, I saw this. What do you think of this brand? Yeah, yeah, this is a good brand." So if 10 friends tell him it's good, my dad will buy.
Absolutely.
But in our case, in our generation, we'll Google, we'll see the reviews, we'll see. So it was different ways of trying to educate them. So the first thing was I had two problems. One was the consumer, one was the merchant. For
Mm.
the merchant, I need to educate them on the value that they see. So I had to do this the manual way. Take pictures, put it online, show them the sales, tell them what they need to do with the product, and then get them the sales. And that was easy.
Mm.
Eventually you just you do one merchant, the neighbors will ask, and then the neighbors will ask, and next thing you know, the whole street will ask me, and then I
Right.
just do it. And then for the consumer bit was just a case of trying to understand the habits of how they shop. So day is a bit different from all platforms.
How?
um, you can shop from the supermarket, you can shop from our wet market, you can shop from the whole of Little India, and we actually get the goods in one bag on the same day to you.
Yes, exactly. So this is what I wanted to bring out, that
Mm.
usually when we go to the portal of a certain grocery store or a
Mm.
certain handle, we can only shop what is available in that shop. But what is beautiful about Day is that having more than 300 vendors on the same platform, as you rightly mentioned, if I feel that the best product I can actually get in the wet market, I would go there and shop from there. Otherwise, I would look at a certain other shop and buy from there. But I know, and then in the end, it's not like, unfortunately, I have to say, it's not like a Lazada that's happening recently that I get 10 packets over 10 days, one with a
Yeah.
container I ordered from China, another one, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's such a pain. What
Mm.
I and you won't believe it, Jay, just because I had to have this conversation with you, I did place an order with Day earlier this
Oh
week,
wow.
which was delivered on the 7th at home, because I wanted to have that first hand experience to
Okay.
understand exactly how the whole thing goes. And it worked beautifully. I
Oh,
have to
thank you
admit.
so much.
It did.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm
So
glad.
I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't obviously experience it. But it's a beautiful platform, and I totally recommend, guys, if you have not downloaded Day, then you have to download the app and try it once. If you think that it's not worth it, don't try again. But I promise you, you will get everything that you're looking for, and definitely it's worth it. So coming back to your USP,
Mm.
yeah. So apart from having multiple vendors on the same, what else can we expect from the roadmap for
So I
Day?
think the pure concept of all this was I wanted to replicate the consumer's way of shopping. When we go out, we don't shop at one store. But
Correct.
I also didn't want to inconvenience them by paying high logistics fees, payments. I wanted to make it the kind of experience that you would do
Mm.
offline to online. I always believe in this omni-channel experience.
Mm.
So by getting these various merchants was the one bit. Second bit is achieving same day. Most of us want the goods the same day. It's
Yes.
like, oh dear, I'm going to get it tomorrow. You know what? I'll just go and get it myself. So to me, it was to try to give them that opportunity to get it the same day. So we strive, and we are able to do it right now because of our infrastructure and our
Mhm.
logistics. So the guys do an amazing job. Third part of it is, sometimes you want to buy something and you walk to the shop and the guy says out of stock, it's not there. And then you'll be like, oh dear, where do I find it? And you walk back. In our case, we have concierge shopping,
Yeah.
whereby we actually call you to inform you, hey, this is out of stock. Do you want an alternative brand or do you want another product? And then we help to find for it. So
Right.
we try to bring that kind of convenience to you to make it seamless. And that's what Day is about, to bridge the gap, because we see a lot of kids are, people and millennials who are shopping for their parents who are
Right.
who are not tech savvy. So they want to be able to actually teach their parents how to use Day, and we had to make it easy for all of them to be able to use it. So that's why the app, if you look at it, is quite intuitive. It's quite
Yes.
straightforward,
It is.
and I hope you enjoyed using that app. I hope
I
no
did,
problem.
I did for sure. So I'm a recurring customer. Don't worry about me now. But
Awesome.
I'm just thinking, when you decided to set up the business, obviously there's a lot of challenges. As you mentioned, there's ups and downs, and just convincing your people to be on your platform is just one thing. The other is getting the consumers and having a differentiation, right? Because during COVID specifically, a lot of people have moved on to the bandwagon of being grocery suppliers. They had the transport. People from the logistics decided to do this. Companies like Grab, for example, a lot of them have started getting into this business. So where do you think this is heading? We're nowhere close to the end of the pandemic if it comes to the global aspect. Singapore, yeah, we're pretty much towards the end. So where do you see this headed?
So I think a lot of people keep thinking that offline shopping is going to get obsolete, But the difference is the joy that you get walking the aisles in a supermarket can never be replicated online. But
Absolutely.
it's a billion-dollar market in Singapore itself.
Mm.
E-commerce is just a mere 4 to 5%. So a lot of us still shop offline, but we are not here to become 90% grocery shopping. We're
Mm.
here just to give you an alternative voice, like in Parliament, an alternative voice. So
Right.
that on days that you can't walk down to the shop, on days you have a sudden late night meeting and you need to get some food on the table,
Mm.
that's an e-commerce option. We can never eradicate
Mm.
offline shopping and will never overtake. That's the fact.
Okay.
But it will become a convenience for everybody as an alternative. So out of 10 shopping experiences, probably 2 you'll do it online. Probably the 8 you'll go down, because those 2 experiences are different.
Mm.
Sometimes it's just you want to take a walk and have a look. It's like you want to go Little India on Diwali day, you want to avoid the crowds. Yes, so on that day you'll shop online. But
Yes.
there'll be a day you want to come and see the light up,
Yeah.
and you want to be there and see the atmosphere. So these 2 things, you can't replicate it, but at the end of the day, both will grow. Just that I believe e-commerce, it's not going to overtake, but it will take a bigger chunk. Probably now it's 5%, probably go to 15% of the market value. That's it.
True. All right. So that sounds like a not a problem. The way you express it, you don't seem to be concerned about it. But are you concerned about the competition that's coming in terms of not online portals or otherwise, but new concepts are evolving. So how do you keep track of how you can be ahead on the curve, right? Because end of the day, it's about being ahead, the first mover's advantage, and a lot more in a business. So how will you make sure that one, you're always different from the others, and two, you are the go-to for the consumers? Why would they come to you, and why not go to anyone else for that matter?
So I think the key here is, what do you stand for is the first thing. You need
Right.
to be able to put who in the center. So for us, we are a very customer-centric approach. Means at the center of all decision is the consumer.
Mm.
So that's the first thing that we align ourselves with. Second concept or principle we follow is, at the end of the day, we set very high standards. If you ask me, are we happy with our app? We're not. So we keep telling ourselves that we need to keep improving it, improving. People say it's a bad thing. Why are you putting it down? I say it's not. If I say I'm happy with the app, I'll never improve it. So we keep making sure the experience gets better and better. Eventually, when you go online, I should be recommending goods that you want to see. I want to. We have 25,000 of our products. You're not going
Right.
to look at all of it, but you want to get to the shortest route to find it. So
Yeah.
I need to align you with machine learning. I want to be your artificial intelligence to actually help you shop, such that when you look at it, I just have to click one click and I'm checked out. So these are things that we improve. So the product will keep evolving.
Mm.
In terms of competition, it comes in all sizes and shapes. But the difference is consistency. You
Yeah.
know, and the
Absolutely.
quality of service, because people talk about, okay, one time delivering good quality basmati rice and the next time you see ants, but our question and at the end of the day is being consistent. I remember when we started, we were having some, okay, customers are streaming in, but the first person to ever do a review is a negative review. you know
Oh. Oh.
that's how it works. The people who are happy will say, you know what, okay, I was glad. But the people who want to make a complaint will be the first to write a review. But this is something that we take seriously. Like, we actually pride ourselves that we address every concern, no matter how bad it is, and we will work towards getting better. And think that itself keeps making us change the product, improve the product. And as I said, it's not just the consumers are changing, the environment is changing.
Of course.
And the demands today are different. During COVID time, we see a lot of people buying eggs and toilet paper.
Mm.
Then this time, you see a lot of people buying sweets and decorations for Diwali. And then in December, now we have a lot of turkey orders. So you have to keep adjusting. And I always say, when you dance, you have to tiptoe, because if you're flat-footed, you're not going to move. So you have to keep moving to the groove and keep understanding your consumers. That
True.
keeps you ahead of the competition.
And that's very beautifully portrayed yet again, because I feel that when you talk from experience, which is why the right words happen to be communicated. Because frankly, what I did realize was that, number one, you always ask for feedback right after the experience of the person. A company, even for myself in that case, and I say that because I love feedback. I keep pushing people for feedback, and I don't want praises. I
Yeah.
always look for negative feedback. People are surprised. I said, no, give me some negative feedback. What did you not like about us? What do you not like about our job? What do you not like about our program? Something must be there, because how else will we improve? And that is why it's really important. The second thing I realized is, in your business, the supply chain and keeping on top of your supplies at any point of time is very important. Because many times, and this is not from my personal experience only but also others, when they come back and tell us that, we placed an order with this company that you have been telling us, and then they take the orders, we make the payments, and then when they deliver, they leave 5 things out of it. Okay. And they say, so we're going to refund you, right? It's not about refund. It's
Yeah.
about time I have lost from today to 4 days when you deliver, and then you tell me it's not in stock. That's the kind of inconvenience. And I did not personally face it with day, at least not when on my first order. So how do you make sure that your logistics, your supply chain, your everything, your app is updated? How do you make sure?
So what we have done in our place is we have not only, so some of the goods that you see on day majority is already brought in house. So we have a huge warehouse,
Right.
and we put from there. So our inventory is read. Even if you order, I think the latest time you can place an order, it's about 12 p.m. to get same day. I think we are one of the latest. In fact, even for our merchants, what we have done is we have put a very strict SOP for them, whereby if they don't hit these targets and they fail at certain level, they are penalized. So they have taken it seriously. I think it's about training them, because inventory is maintained by them on a daily basis.
Totally. Yes.
And there are days that will be unavoidable. Like, for example, if you place an order on Monday and you
Right.
ask for it 3 days later, and on that day you ask for fresh vegetables,
Hmm.
we're not going to pack it earlier, because
Yeah.
we don't want it to be not fresh. So we take it on the same day. But so happen on that day the truck with tomatoes didn't arrive. It's unavoidable. Even if you walk down the street, it's going to be the case. But what we try, as I said, we try not to have such a long window. So we try, if you see day, we don't try to let you do 4 or 5 days. We try to reduce it. Two, in terms of quality, we have a lot of inspectors on the ground who actually inspect the goods upon packing. We reject, we replace, and if you're not happy with the goods, we get our concierge shopper to call you, immediately inform you and ask, okay, do you want an alternative? We find that the cauliflower that we did was not bad. Would you mind one that's packed like this? Then if they're fine, we do the replacement. But as I said, it does have its limitations because there are days where you say time. You could walk down to a shop, you want to buy something, the bubble tea, and the shop is closed.
Yeah.
It will happen. But in our case, we try to do a lot of implementations with the merchant and with our pickers and all that to ensure that we do a 99% fill rate to get the goods to you. So most of our products, most of our orders actually go now 100%.
Oh,
So we
wow.
are glad that we achieved it. We used to have quite bad OS situation because of merchants, so we fixed it up. And now probably most orders actually arrive at 100% fill rate. So that's one thing that we are proud of.
That's huge in this business. In just about 3 years and over, if you have been able to achieve and figure out the details to that level, just to make sure that consumer remains at the center of your decisions and all your execution, I think you're just perfectly on the right track. A quick question, Jay, before I let you go is, of course, I'm enjoying this conversation because there's so much so much that,
Same, I'm enjoying it too.
yeah, totally, because
Thank
there's
God we didn't eat me up, so I'm glad on that. So
because now suddenly I also gain the ground in terms of being a consumer, right? So, well, I'm always right.
fair enough, fair enough.
So, Jay, tell me, if I were to ask you, just go back all these years that you've spent in the business, growing it, developing it, and obviously looking at operations, executing it, and all that. If I were to ask you, what has been your biggest challenge to date? Would you have one in mind, or would you have many?
I think in this journey, challenges come every single day.
Tell me about it.
You will think it's you solve one problem and you're going,
Yeah,
and you face another. It comes in different shapes and sizes. I'm sure in
absolutely.
your journey, you think everything's settled. Okay, yes, we have started new, it's going good, and something happens. Regulation,
Surprise!
legislation, complaints. So, but it comes. But the thing
Yeah,
about having to go in this journey, I just believe is you need the metal,
yeah.
you need that appetite, and you
Totally.
need that hunger. Because many of them ask me whether I really believe in the words I use. I
Mm.
say, well, I've lasted, I'm still going, and I'm nowhere close to finishing my story. So judge me at the end of the day. So this is my journey. And I think everybody has a journey. Some like it comfortable.
Yeah.
I just love the top off and my hair flying in the wind and getting messed up. So if that's me, that's me. So that's how I roll. So I guess
Love
it's a joy in terms of being that the journey. So my experiences are just going to be different from everyone.
Absolutely. And I think rightly said, the challenges. Did you ever wake up in the morning saying, oh my God, why did I get into this?
I'm sure I had those days. I'm sure I had those days. But somehow you find it somewhere in you, and it's like getting to a gym, right?
Yeah,
You do 1 2 days, you look at the body, wow, it's looking good, and then the next day, oh, my body feels like a rag.
true.
The only way to do it is just get to the gym. So I just say turn up. And same thing here, you just turn up, you think positive. You have to learn the difference in us as an entrepreneur. I think we need a lot of self motivation more
Absolutely.
than people telling us anything. Sometimes it doesn't make any more sense. Like they're being nice, but I think it's from us within that we need that kind of self. You can do it. Just believe in it. Just keep going. So I think it requires a lot. That's why I said it requires a certain metal in you to just survive this and go. So yeah, I do have my down days. I'm not going to deny that. But I think it's I still keep going. Let it come.
Lovely. Because that's exactly the essence of being an entrepreneur. You don't wake up in the morning every day and say, yay, I don't have to go to work. No one's checking on me. Well, you have to check on yourself, because
Yeah.
if you don't keep yourself motivated, you're never going to be where you will. And definitely, there are downs more than ups. I mean, frankly, if I were to really reflect on my journey as well, I would say there are many, many, many downs. And yes, the ups are good enough to keep us encouraged and inspired. But then there are many downs. But tell me, just quickly before, again, I keep saying before I let you go, though I don't want to let you go. The entrepreneurs of tomorrow, people who are debating to be entrepreneurs, we know that in the current pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs. There is unemployment at its all-time high, probably. What would you say to people who are looking at setting up their businesses or are debating in terms of quitting, because businesses have also suffered? What would be your pearls of wisdom and experience, if I may use that?
I think the first thing is for those who want to get involved in this journey. I think
Right.
the first key is have a plan. Think carefully. Think of your plan. Think of all your options. Do a thorough research on what you're getting involved. Just don't think that you feel that this is a good business and you do it. It's not about what you feel. It's about what the rest of them feel about it. So you need to address that. Sometimes you cannot just validate from your point of view because you love chocolates that everybody loves chocolates. First lesson I learned. So make sure you validate and always say just do your research. If you have enough people who buys that idea, then that's your market. You have a product and you'll be able to move. For those in the business who have been going through this whole turmoil of survivability and all that, I follow three basic principles in running my business. First, getting a good product. So first thing, it falls into these three things: product, people, or process. So the question is, one mistake can be happening either one of it. You just have to find, is it your product is not right, or the people you hired is not right, or is there some process that I'm not doing right that's not giving me the results? And I'm sure if you figured it out, you will be able to just keep moving forward. And of course, don't give up that easily. That's all I can say to all these guys. Yeah.
Oh, love it. Love it. Totally love it. That's a lot of encouragement. That's a lot of positivity coming from somebody who's actually into it and deep into the business. And of course, from the time that you decided to name it DEI, which is beautiful, to say that. And then from there to working on the supplies, working on logistics, working on, of course, the inventory, as we said, working on a lot more, the 3 Ps of business, as we all say. Fantastic. And on that note, Jay, if there's any concluding remark that you have, I'd love to hear that for you, for your current consumers, future consumers, of course, your businesses, your partners. If there's anything you'd like to say before we close this.
Yeah. So to those who have shopped on Day, thank you so much for your support. For those who have not, please do try. I think I would love your feedback, and if you can improve, do give a shout out. We are so accessible in all means. And I want to say thank you to Radio Masti for the amazing job, amazing journey. I've seen you guys in the last 3 years, and eventually I'm here sitting with you, Renuga, and awesome. It's my honor as well. And thank you so much, guys. And I hope to catch up with you guys soon.
Fantastic. And on that note, I do want to thank you, Jay, for joining us today. It's just been fantastic seeing you here on the same platform where we've been singing this song. And I will say thank you. And what song? I'm going to play it right after I say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
डे डे प्यार डे प्यार डे प्यार डे 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 प्यार डे जुम्मा जुम्मा डे डे हाँ।
अब तुझे डे और डे का फर्क भी बताना पड़ेगा।
फर्क तो है ही। अगर चाहिए एक ही जगह से एक ही दिन में घर बैठे बैठे ग्रोसरीज, प्रेयर आइटम्स, कॉस्मेटिक्स, मेडिसिन्स, हाउस होल्ड का सामान या मोर, तो डाउनलोड करो DEI डे ऐप और हो जाओ शुरू। डे डे प्यार डे प्यार डे।
For details, log on to dei.com.sg and download the app today. Day. Online shopping just got easier.
कहा था ना मैंने, ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग just got easier only because of day. What a beautiful, beautiful conversation. I tell you, whenever I talk to entrepreneurs, for some reason, मेरे अंदर की जो आग होती है, the fire just burns and decides to go all the way to the next level. कहते हैं ना कि अगर आपने कोई business नहीं try किया है, if you've been thinking and thinking, it's not about business, it's about thinking about doing something in life and you haven't tried, then you failed already. लेकिन जब आप उस चीज को ट्राई करते हैं, then you have not failed. You've just found another 10,000 ways that it's not going to work. So experience is equally important, as is success and as is failure in life. Remember that for an entrepreneur, all this is very, very important. There will never be a time that an entrepreneur will wake up day after day after day and say, yes, I did it well. I'm so happy I'm an entrepreneur. I've got my bank account full and I'm just amazed at how good I am. Nahi, aisa nahi hota hai. The reality is that an entrepreneur wakes up every day thinking, aage kya hoga, till he's totally established. And of course, established, it's easier said than done. There's a lot of hard work, dedication, passion that goes in. आप किसी भी entrepreneur को उठा लीजिए and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. On that note, it's lovely having you people here. This is our new show. इसका नाम है Entrepreneurs on Fire. They're always on fire. They're always the go-getters. And if you know an entrepreneur who is totally amazing and raring in whatever he or she is doing, हमको जरूर बताइएगा. info@radiomasti.com.sg, or else, of course, 9151896 is the telephone number. Do share the profile with us. We'd love to feature entrepreneurs who can really add a lot of value to people out there. On that note, thank you so much, Shalu, for joining with us. Thank you, Kirti, for joining us as well and staying around. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. That was Jay Varman, the co-founder and CEO of Day Holdings Private Limited. Till we meet again, it's goodbye from Radio Masti 24/7. Of course, मैं आपको मिलती रहूंगी. ऐसी बात तो है नहीं कि मैं एक ही बार आई और गायब हो गई. कल के दिन में हम मिलेंगे म्यूजिक बियॉन्ड बाउंड्रीज के साथ में, लेकिन उसके बाद में Throwback Thursday, and of course, next time, yet again, another entrepreneur, another story. Till then, take good care of yourselves. It's bye. Love you.
Make sure you add Masti to your lives. Download the app today and stay energized and connected on the go. Radio Masti 24/7 Live, Singapore.